Hi everyone, and welcome to the last video of your 8-week course. Congratulations on everyone making it this far and passing the entire course. It's been a pleasure really to have you all aboard. Now for this final video, it will not be long, but it's just some general advice of how to take things in the future. And while this video is going on, I'm just going to make a box. There you go. Something interesting to look at. So what I want to talk about is pretty much areas to focus on different industries. So if you're going into the video game market, it's low polygon, right? Low polygon work. And as an example of low polygon work, let's try and look at. I will go through my little characters here, and you can see I have building up here. There we go. If you're going into the game industry, try and focus on low polygon work, whether that be inorganic, scenes, or characters. So currently, I've developed a scene, something like this, and this is a low poly scene, and I will switch this to something like standard mode, so you can see it without all the fussy details. Now, don't forget that organize your layers. I've organized my layers so I can hide the walls anytime I want, and then specific walls. So for instance, wall left, wall front, and then so I can render out camera views. You know, if I needed to focus on just one side, I could do this and see the back walls don't bother me or anything like that. Now this entire scene is only 50,000 polygons, and watch what happens when I delete the main character here, which I just use as a placeholder. This entire scene is actually less than 20,000 polygons. That includes every single thing you're looking at right now, which is less than some shoes that I've seen people make. So focusing on low poly scene work, and we can even reduce the polygon count on this scene because I left the sides and the bottoms of these because I was going to start animating them to be, destructible. Like that. Making sure that you have low poly scenes is a good way to build up your portfolio and to showcase to other people that you can develop an entire scene with simple objects and be able to unwrap and texture them. Unwrapping and texturing objects is not that complicated. These are just boxes with different texture tops. You can all do that. I've seen you all do that. The less textures you can use to texture something like this, the better. I used like about 5 different textures to texture this building, but if you can use less than that, great. But if you need that much, then that's okay too. That's not a problem. So developing scenes is a good way to get into the low poly environment. Developing characters like this Boodle that I made. The Boodle is extremely low poly. It's less than 6,000 polygons. But it can be completely rigged easily. I had set up a rig right here, as you can tell. And most of the polygons are actually stuck in the eyeballs here. I needed to make them look really rounded. But if I unfreeze and delete these 2 eyeballs, we're already at 5,000 polygons. And I guarantee that the rig is actually a lot of polygons too. So if I take away this, if I take away these spikes actually have mesh smooth on them. If I take that off, 3,700. And I can see now if I delete all this, that the rig itself is about 2,000 polygons on its own. So if I delete this rig, oh, there's hidden. Sorry, it's not the rig itself. There's something hidden. Unhide all. Yes. That. You're at 3,000. And there's a little model somewhere hidden away, which is good to spot right now. And you can see that it's actually like half the polygon count that we thought it originally was. If I delete this empty one, look at that, 1,500 polygons for this model. And now by adding things like Turbo Smooth back on, we increase the polygon count but make everything look smoother. But now in this way, in this format of keeping something really low poly, really low poly, and then adding something like a mesh smooth modifier on top of it, I have a more video cutscene resolution of this object, but I also have a low poly in-game version of this object. So that's also something to keep in note, is like it's not only just thinking about modeling something specific and it's stuck in one state of being high polygon or low polygon, trying to make sure it can transition between both. is what's called making LODs, level of detail models, which means that if the camera is close, we use the high resolution mesh. We use this mesh. There we go. And the polygon count increases. But if the camera is this far, the difference between the low poly and the high poly is barely visible from this distance. So we can use that level of detail and bring those in here in a video game engine such as Unreal and Unity, and it will calculate the difference between this and let you change the model types, which is really helpful. So that's to get into the video game industry. If you're going to get in the movie industry, that's fine to keep mesh smooth on. I still recommend keeping a low poly and high poly mesh smooth. But if you need to, you can rely just simply on the entire mesh smooth model, the high polygon model, because really what matters the most is your end rendering. Like the rendered image in the end. For the movie industry, it's more about practically what's on this render showcasing rather than what's in the scene. So if you can get the same result of this model to look like this, and you draw it in 2D, they'll tell you to draw it in 2D if it's faster. Basically, whatever is faster and more render efficient is best, but whatever also looks good. So trying to make your model look as accurate as possible, best as possible, with high details, that's the most important part about 3D modeling for the movie industry. This also works for advertising as well. Advertising is a lot of Photoshop work, so technically if this model needed eyeballs or something like that, I'll just delete this rig here, needed eyeballs, instead of having the 3D model an eyeball, try and make it look really accurate, I might just drag and drop this into Photoshop with the transparent background. Don't forget to render out a transparent background, save it as a PNG file, and then make sure that alpha channel is checked on so that the background in 3D Studio Max is rendered transparent, so you can use these models in different areas. So there's a lot of different reasons to do different techniques, but all in all, if you're going for video games, low poly, make sure any hidden polygons are deleted, and make sure your mesh flow looks good so that riggers and animators can get to it and use it properly. When it comes to movies and cutscenes, high polygon models are acceptable, so you can go crazy as much as you want. The polygon count limits of movies and cutscenes is so high that you probably won't reach it, but you can go anywhere up to 1 million, 5 million, 10 million. But always keep also a low poly version of that character around. So for this Boodle character, I'm going to keep the low res around, but also have the high resolution mesh available just for close-up cutscenes. And then if you want to get more into the advertisement industry, it's all about the final image, so it doesn't really matter too much about the result in 3D Studio Max result as best as you can, but anything else can be photoshopped or After Effects in right afterwards to get that special result. And but obviously the closer you can get for that type of industry, advertisement, medical, that kind of stuff, the closer you can get in 3D perfect. But don't forget that you can also bring these things into Photoshop. You can bring them into an After Effects. You can even render out a video sequence of PNGs, so PNG image sequence, inside 3D Studio Max by clicking Rendering, Render Setup, going to Active Time Segment, or specify a range from 0 to 100, or if you want to increase the frame rate more, you can bring that up higher. But as we're talking about mostly modeling sakes, we don't need to worry about animation. So basically what I would worry about is actually just getting these models to look fairly accurate. Accuracy and getting nice renders or putting nice shaders on them using Mental Ray is going to be your biggest thing. So all in all, really, it's also a matter of fact up to your employers. They'll tell you specifically what they're looking for, and you can just find a way to do that, no problem inside of 3D Studio Max, and being confident about trying to figure out solutions to the problems that you're going to run into. And that's pretty much what I have to seal this off with. Honestly, when it comes to 3D, you have all the creative tools right in front of you. You learned a lot about modeling. You learned how to build up models, inorganic, organic. You learned how to unwrap them. And texturing is up to your talent when it comes to 2D artwork, but make sure to practice it if you're having struggle texturing and unwrapping objects with inorganics and take it higher as you go. But from what I've seen, you can all get to that stage pretty easily and start working on your own as freelance modelers and start doing work for people. So what I would suggest is that you maybe contact some friends who are interested in getting a 3D logo or 3D work done, and or even if they want a 3D character. I mean, don't work for free. Your work deserves to be paid, but if you need to build up your portfolio and are finding a hard time finding influence, try and find influence in families and friends and or comic books or video games or movies that you like, and try and build up things. That's usually the best way to run around these things. Sometimes I get influenced by friends of mine, and I start building up tons of different characters, and I start learning different tools as I develop things. So a character like Maggio here for a video game, we started building her up. And then I noticed she needed anime eyes, so we gave her big anime eyes, and all that kind of stuff. We just worked out a little bit of everything like this until we got a character we liked and is able to be 3D printed and everything like that. And that's what I recommend you guys do, is basically just try and keep working on your stuff, find your influences, and trying to build up your portfolio with stuff that you like, because that won't only just be cool stuff that you enjoy doing, but it would also be stuff that employers actually want to see from you as well, that they'll enjoy. So and eventually you'll get down to building entire characters, entire clothing sets, and that kind of stuff, and you'll just have a great time with that. So, my final word of advice before the holidays: work over the holidays, try and develop some cool models, showcase them to me afterwards, or post them on ArtStation and get good feedback, and we'll see where we can go from there. Like I said, your certificates are going to be in the mail soon, starting at the beginning of 2017. I'm going to try and get them as early as possible. By the latest, I think you'll be able to get them at the end of February, and I'll send them out to each of you. If you do need letters of recommendation or you're applying for a job, feel free to let me know in early January, and I'll give you letters of references and phone numbers and whatnot that you can use to contact me at. And we'll just go from there. I mean, that's it. Your course is finished, and now it's up to you to take the skills that you've learned, push them even further, because these skills don't stop. You got to keep upgrading. Just because you take drawing courses, for instance, after a year doesn't mean people stop drawing and stop learning. You learn forever. So you got to keep your skills up and keep improving. Look up plugins, look up stuff that helps you model, and just keep working at it and doing your best job. And eventually you'll create models that you'll be like, whoa, I never thought I could create this, but you will, and you do. So, over the break, do a lot of work. Showcase it to me, because I'd love to see it. And I'll contact you in the new year, and we'll see where we go from there. And your certificates will be out, and I want to see your progress. And just keep up the good work. Take care, guys and gals. Enjoy your Christmas vacation, and I'll see you early January, and hopefully get some emails back from you with some new 3D work. It was a pleasure having you all in the course. Congratulations on passing. A lot of you did very good, and some of you were completely exceptional. And I was proud to have each and every one of you on board. It was all fantastic. So now it's up to you to keep those skills going and push them even further, and show me some cool stuff and show other people cool stuff. Don't be afraid to post your stuff online and showcase. No one's going to make fun of you for doing it, right? So go to places like ArtStation and start posting, and see what... start posting quality work, please. Take your time on your objects. Don't just like finish a sword in a day and be like, I finished the sword, it looks good, I'm going to post it. But it's not refined or finished. Or you didn't get critique from friends and family or other artists. You go for critique first and then post something really fine and quality. Because you'll notice that a second pair of eyes can really help improve your artwork. So take care, enjoy your summer, enjoy your Christmas vacation, and I will see you all in the new year. And congratulations once again.